the points that have been made. The government's approach in terms of the planning bill is an absolute scandal. It is an abuse of the most basic processes in terms of how Parliament should operate. I want to also make a more fundamental point here, which is that the proposal is that we rise on Thursday, the 14th of July, and the Dáil will not be sitting again until Wednesday, the 14th of September. More than 8 weeks, at a time when people's incomes are effectively being eroded day after day by inflation running at close to 10%, when 1 in 3 people are now living in energy poverty, with absolutely obscene profiteering happening by the energy companies, by the big food companies. The Dáil should not rise until it addresses this crisis, until it imposes price controls on the essentials, on petrol, on diesel, on gas and electricity, until it imposes a windfall tax on the profiteering that is happening, until it acts to protect people from this crisis.
Taoiseach, please.
First of all, I would say that in terms of the planning bill and the amendments that the Minister is bringing in, I mean, we just heard earlier at leaders' questions demands to increase housing supply, to reduce the pressure on renters and so on. I mean, that is the full purpose of the amendments, essentially in relation to short-term lettings in particular, which I would have thought many people have been calling for in this House. And many people were looking for this, and the Minister is endeavouring to provide for that now. And in my view, there are positive amendments that will deal with, will provide greater supply. And we just had people complaining about the absence of supply and the need for more supply. Yes, I have indeed. In terms of the short-term lettings. In addition to that, I would make the point that the government has made it clear that there will be a cost of living package, a very substantial one, in tandem with the budget. A lot of work has to go into that, and a lot of work has to go into the budget in terms of getting that right. We've already this last week introduced measures in terms of increasing the back-to-school allowance by over €100. That will take effect in the next week or so. And in addition to that, providing extensive meals to children in DEIS schools, and particularly the new schools. Remember, we had the largest increase in DEIS schools ever this year, which was, I think, an outstanding measure taken by the Minister for Education. But now the school meal programme will be applied as a cost of living measure also, but it's the right thing to do for those attending those DEIS schools. And school transport fees have been waived for the coming September period, again to reduce costs that families would face as they go back to school. I think these are reasonable measures. We need a more comprehensive package at the end of September in terms of cost of living. There's no doubt about that. We have to do it in a way that's not inflationary as best we can. We also have to alleviate the pressures on households. There was briefings, I understand, of the committee by department officials yesterday in relation to these amendments. And I think we do need to continue to streamline our system to make sure we can increase supply of all forms of housing units. And that is certainly there's no grab for power in